Okay, explain this to me. Monday, I'm unstoppable. I clear my entire inbox, knock out 3 reports, organize my files. I feel like a productivity machine. Like, genuinely amazing. But by Thursday, I can barely open my laptop. I spend 45 minutes staring at a blank document. I'm completely wiped. What happened?
What if Monday's productivity didn't just drain you? What if it actually caused Thursday's crash?
Wait, you're saying being productive makes me less productive later?
Not just less productive, you're taking out neurochemical loans your brain can't repay.
Neurochemical loans? That sounds very sciencey for I worked hard and now I'm tired.
It's way more specific than that. Think about your Monday. How did you make yourself be productive?
I just focused, pushed through, used willpower.
Right. And how did that feel?
Actually kind of forced? Like I was overriding the part of my brain that wanted to check my phone or take a break. But it felt good to get stuff done.
That good feeling from forcing productivity? That's dopamine. But here's the thing. You weren't generating new dopamine. You were borrowing it from your future self.
So it's like spending money I don't have?
Exactly. And just like credit cards, there's a payment due date, with interest. Your brain has this neurotransmitter called dopamine. Most people think it's the pleasure chemical, but it's actually about motivation and reward prediction.
Okay, so when I complete a task, I get dopamine?
Naturally, yes. But when you force yourself to be productive through pure willpower, overriding your brain's natural rhythms, ignoring fatigue signals, pushing through resistance, you're creating artificial dopamine spikes.
And artificial is bad?
It's unsustainable. Your brain has to balance itself. After a big dopamine spike, there's always a compensatory dip. The bigger the forced spike, the deeper the crash.
Oh no. So my super productive Monday literally guarantees my can't function Thursday?
Not just Thursday. This is where it gets really interesting. There's this thing called the autonomy bank account we've talked about before. Remember?
The idea that forcing yourself withdraws from your motivation reserves?
Right. Well, dopamine debt is the neurochemical mechanism behind that. When you force productivity, you're making 2 withdrawals. 1. Depleting your autonomy account. Forcing versus choosing. 2. Borrowing dopamine from your future baseline.
So I'm getting hit twice.
Exactly. And here's the worst part. Most people don't see the lag. Monday's productivity high feels so good that we credit ourselves. I'm disciplined. I'm crushing it. But Thursday's crash.
I blame myself for being lazy.
Exactly. We blame ourselves on Thursday. But the problem isn't Thursday. It's the accumulation of debt we've been building since Monday. We think Monday proves we're capable, and Thursday proves we're failures.
But they're the same person. Monday caused Thursday.
Now you're getting it. And there's research on this. Studies on what's called ego depletion and recovery debt show that intense self-control efforts create delayed fatigue that people don't attribute to the original effort.
So science confirms we're terrible at connecting our productivity crashes to what caused them.
Worse, we usually respond to the crash by trying to force more productivity, which just digs the debt deeper.
Oh my God. I do this. Every week, I crash on Thursday, panic about getting behind, force myself through Friday, and then I'm completely destroyed by Saturday.
Welcome to dopamine bankrupts. And this isn't just work productivity. This pattern shows up everywhere.
Like where?
Social media binges.
Wait, how?
Think about it. You scroll for 2 hours. Little dopamine hits with every notification, like new content. Feels engaging, even pleasurable in the moment. But the next day, you feel flat, emotionally numb. Nothing seems interesting.
Oh, that's why I feel dead inside after a binge-watching session.
Exactly. You borrowed all that stimulation from your future baseline. Now, your brain is in recovery mode, and normal life feels boring by comparison. Or cramming for exams.
I know exactly where this is going. You pull an all-nighter, actually do well on the test, and then you can't focus on anything for 3 days.
Right. Because you didn't just lose sleep. You forced your brain into hyperdrive, borrowed massive amounts of dopamine and cognitive resources, and now your brain is demanding payment.
What about exercise? I've heard that's supposed to be good for you, but sometimes after a really hard workout, I feel worse.
Okay, this is where it gets nuanced. Natural exercise that you genuinely feel like doing, that generates sustainable dopamine and actually improves your baseline over time. But forced exercise? I should go to the gym. I'm so lazy if I don't. Everyone's judging me. That's borrowing. You're using willpower to override your body's resistance, and that creates debt.
So it's not the activity that creates debt. It's the forcing.
Yes! That's the key insight. The dopamine debt comes from the override, not the action itself. I need to admit something. I used to brag about my 14-hour workdays.
Used to.
I'd push through exhaustion, force myself to keep going, and feel this huge sense of accomplishment. Look how productive I am. Look how much discipline I have.
But
I'd be completely useless for the next 2 to 3 days. Like couldn't write a coherent email, couldn't make simple decisions, just depleted. And I couldn't figure out why. I thought I was inconsistent, that I lacked discipline on the off days. Turns out I was just paying the dopamine debt from my on days.
how did you figure it out?
I started tracking my energy levels and productivity. Just simple 1 to 10 ratings each evening. And the pattern was undeniable. My highest productivity days perfectly predicted my lowest energy days, 48 to 72 hours later. I was taking out loans my brain couldn't repay.
So what changed?
I had to completely reframe what productivity meant. But let's nail down the pattern first, because once you see it,
Wait. So the whole hustle culture thing, crush it every day, no off days, push through.
is literally teaching people to accumulate dopamine debt until they burn out completely.
You can't force sustained productivity. You can only borrow from your future self. And everyone thinks the crash is a personal failing.
When it's actually the neurological consequence of the forcing.
So when productivity gurus say you just need more discipline,
They're saying, take out bigger loans.
this explains so much. Like everything. Why I have good weeks and terrible weeks. Why forcing myself to work harder makes things worse, not better.
The pattern is, forced productivity creates dopamine debt. Dopamine debt manifests as delayed depletion. We misattribute the depletion to laziness, so we force harder, creating more debt. It's a debt spiral disguised as inconsistency. All right, let's make this real. Pattern recognition time.
This is where you see it in your own life.
Think about your last super productive day. The one where you felt like you were on fire, getting everything done. Got it?
Yeah, mine was last Tuesday.
Now, how did you make yourself be that productive? Did it feel effortless and natural, or were you overriding resistance?
Definitely overriding. I remember thinking, just power through.
Okay, now think about how you felt 2 to 3 days later.
Oh no. That was the week I couldn't get anything done and thought I was having some kind of motivational crisis.
Did you notice the same thing? Your most productive days creating your least productive days a few days later?
The connection is invisible until you look for it.
That lag is the payment schedule. We're experiencing Thursday's bankruptcy, but we're only thinking about Thursday's behavior, not the stack of loans we took out on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
So once you see this pattern in your life,
You can't unsee it. And that's when everything changes. Here's what I had to learn the hard way. There are 2 completely different types of productivity.
which are
Sustainable productivity comes from genuine interest, natural energy rhythms, and choosing to engage. It might not feel dramatic or impressive, but it doesn't create debt. Borrowed productivity comes from willpower, forcing, and overriding your natural state. It feels impressive in the moment, but you're just spending future energy.
So the goal is to only do the sustainable kind.
That's the ideal, but it's not always realistic. Sometimes you have to force. Deadlines, emergencies, life happens.
So what do?
You just have to know you're borrowing. Like, consciously. I'm about to take out a loan. Payment will be due in 2 to 3 days. I'm planning for recovery, not judging myself when it hits.
Instead of being surprised by the crash and calling yourself lazy,
You expect it and plan for it. Totally different mental frame. And here's the reframe that actually helped me. Productivity isn't about output. It's about rhythm.
explain.
Most of us think, I should be productive every day, all the time. But your brain literally can't work that way. It needs recovery, variation, genuine rest. So instead of, how do I maximize output? The question becomes, how do I work with my brain's natural rhythms instead of against them?
Which means sometimes the most productive thing you can do is rest.
Not even rest. Sometimes it's just not forcing. letting yourself work at your natural pace, even if it feels slower. Because forcing might give you Monday's spike, but it costs you Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
And if you don't force Monday, you get consistent Monday through Sunday?
Exactly. It's less dramatic, but it's sustainable.
Okay, so here's your challenge for this week. And I'm actually doing this too.
3 tiny experiments. Pick the one that feels most useful. Every evening, 2 ratings. Energy level today, 1 to 10. How much I forced, 1 to 10. Dated. That's it. No analysis yet. Just collect data for 7 days.
Most people see the pattern within a week. High forcing days predict low energy days, with that 2 to 3 day lag.
This isn't about judgment. Oh, I shouldn't force myself. It's about making the invisible visible. If you want to test this actively, after your next high forcing day, block 30 minutes 48 hours later for genuine rest.
Not productive rest.
Actual rest. No optimization, just recovery.
See if planned recovery changes the crash intensity.
This is optional. Some people need the action, others just need the awareness. Do what serves you.
Where else in your life are you paying dopamine debt?
Look for social media binges, emotional flatness, forced workouts, exercise avoidance, all-nighters, brain fog for days, overcommitment, resentment, and withdrawal.
The pattern: forced spike, delayed crash, self-blame, more forcing.
And come tell us in the comments, where did you spot the dopamine debt in your life?
Seriously, your pattern recognition might help someone else see their own. This changes everything though. Like the whole just push harder mentality
Is a debt trap. You're not building productivity. You're borrowing it.
and the crashes aren't failures.
They're payment schedules. Stop forcing productivity.
Start tracking the debt.
Notice the lag.
Plan for recovery when needed.
Work with your brain,
not against,
against it.
What did your energy tracking reveal?
Tell us, when did you realize you were living in dopamine debt?